Welcome back, everyone, and on this episode of the Nintendo Explorer, the evil corporation that is Nintendo. Why are they so greedy? Why do they only love money? Why don't they want to be our friends? It's almost as if they're like a business or a company or something that requires funding. Let's discuss. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I've been MIA for a little bit. I have not built my page to be a Nintendo news page. It was more to do some of the fun stuff. Obviously, I'm going to report on the news as it unfolds, but recently there's been a lot of stuff in Nintendo news, and I've been like super busy with work and just had a lot going on. So I was unable to keep up with it, and it was a little bit overwhelming, I guess you could say. For that, just trying to put a video out for something and then just being a couple days behind and stuff. And then I said, you know what, forget it. It doesn't matter. I'll wait till everything blows over. But for the sake of the news aspect, let's give a quick recap. First, Metroid Dread released. It's gotten good reviews, and so far the feedback from some of the gamers has been positive. It's actually sold pretty decent too. For Metroid, remember Metroid isn't like a multi million. It's not gonna sell 30 million units or something like that. But it looks like it's had a decent overall release. Switch OLED released on the same day. There's been a little bit of there's been some discussion that the launch was underwhelming, and so that's kind of caused stock prices to drop for Nintendo a little bit. But that's just odd because the fact that it hasn't sold as much is not due to the product being undesirable or whatever it is that people are saying. It's have sold out of what they're shipping. What they're shipping isn't high enough because we're still some shortages due to COVID, and so it's a little bit weird where it's like, hey, the launch isn't as good as everybody thought it was. I mean, they sold out of what they're shipping. They're just not able to ship a lot. So that's weird. Anyway, it's out there if you're interested. Don't pay scalper prices. Please don't buy from a scalper. Just wait for it to be available for sale. They did the Animal Crossing updates. They had their direct, and they showed some really cool updates. And what was interesting is they also showed the new pricing for the online service. And you can buy the Animal Crossing update separate for like 25 bucks or something like that. And this is where everyone's been going crazy saying Nintendo's so greedy, they only want money. Yes, they're a company. Not only do they want money, they actually need money to continue to function and survive. So I always find it funny when people are like, this company only wants money. All of them only want money. You choose the ones you like and that's it. And expect to be, bent over, or let's not be so graphic. Expect to lose money. They all want money. There's not a single company out there that operates not wanting money or not making money. But to get back on topic here, they announced the Animal Crossing DLC, 25 bucks. They announced the expansion online service for $30, bringing the total to 50. However, they're also tying in the Animal Crossing DLC. If you can get that with the online service. So, in other words, if you pay the new expansion pass online service, that includes not only the Nintendo 64 and the new Sega Genesis stuff coming, it also includes the Animal Crossing DLC. And I think that's pretty interesting that Nintendo's looks like they're gonna include some DLC or some expansions for certain games in this service, which could be kind of cool and hopefully eases some of the fans' concerns on pricing. I'll admit, I was hoping, like really hoping, that it would be only $10 more and it would be $30 total for the year. But I was kind of expecting to pay $40. I knew, I was like, it's gonna be 40. So this $50 price tag is a little higher than I thought. But let's look at it a different way. And maybe Nintendo needs to start phrasing things a little bit differently. Maybe instead of going for the yearly price, Nintendo should have did the monthly price, okay? So the monthly price of this ends up, it's $4.16. Get out a calculator, do $50 divided by 12, you get 4.1666, a bunch of sixes. So $4.16 to $4.17, it pretty much breaks down to a month. That's not that bad. I mean, do we want a better service? Yes, and hopefully Nintendo continues to improve their service. But for the ability to play these NES games, these Super NES games, these Nintendo 64 games, I know some people don't care about the Sega. I'm actually a little bit more excited for the Sega games. Why is the price so high? Well, because there was a rumor that had been spread by Emily Rogers that Nintendo had to pay a lot of money to Sega and Capcom, and although this specifically wasn't mentioned, I'm sure Microsoft and Rare are included in this, as well as some of the other companies, for the licensing fees to get to bring those games over, and so that cost made the service a little bit higher. What about some of the other stuff that they charge premium for their remakes, they charge premium for ports. Um, you know, if you enjoy buying the ports again, great, buy them. If you don't, then don't buy them. If you think you're going to enjoy this online service, great, get it. If you don't want to pay the money, then don't pay the money and don't get it. I know there was a video the video that Nintendo had posted talking about the online service got something like 50,000 dislikes. 50,000, that's a lot of dislikes. But you know what? There's like almost 100 million switches out there in the world, right? So if you think about 100 million switches, even the people that downvoted this video 50,000 times, that's less than 1%. That's like 0.10%. 0.10% of the Switch population downvoted that. You know what that means? That means there's still a lot of people that are going to go out there and just pay and get it. And you know what? Nintendo's charging a premium because why not? Have you looked at the prices of secondhand games? I mean, collectors are paying a crap ton of money to get old 64 games. Scalpers are out there buying new Switches, the Switch OLEDs, and reselling them for $400, $500, $600 even. And people are actually buying them, but then people are upset when Nintendo tries to make money on their own product. It's like weird. It's like, you know what? Let's pull out Nike for a second, right? Let's take Nintendo out of the equation. Nike spends around $5 to make a sneaker or so to make a pair of shoes, right? The average price of Nike shoes are around $59.99. Okay, why is it that Nike sells that? Well, their brand has dictated that they are willing to spend $60 on some Nike shoes. So even though it costs Nike $5 to make them, they charge $60, and people gladly pay it. And that's not even talking about Jordans. What about the Jordans? Cost the same amount to make Jordans, around $5, but they're charging you $250 to $300, and people are lining up outside every couple of months to get a next pair of Jordans, right? Same thing with Nintendo. Nintendo is trying to build up their brand. They're building up their IP. They're setting a bar on where they're valuing their brand, and that's how much they're charging people. So if you value the brand, you're gonna have to pay into it. If you don't want to, that's fine. Then don't. Okay, it's no one's putting a gun to your head. Do we want Nintendo to bring the prices down? I would love it. As a consumer and fan, bringing the prices down only helps my pocket. But realistically, that's probably not going to happen, especially when you have a company that's out there looking at what other people are paying secondhand for products. Don't you think Nintendo's looking at these things? They're looking at the prices of these secondhand games and going, we can do better. We can sell it for more. They're paying higher prices. Let's do it. You gotta remember, like I said, branding. Everybody's gonna work on their branding, and everybody's gonna try to make as much money as they can when they can. That's the other aspect, okay? If you're making a lot of money, if you're doing a lot right now, you don't slow down. You keep on because you need to make sure you build your reserves because at some point you're not gonna be selling as much or you're not gonna be as high as you were, and you're gonna need to have that reserve for that slowdown period. Just like life, just like you, man. Just like if there's a lot of extra work out there, if you can go out there and hustle right now and build up all that extra money, go do it because you never know. You need to build up. You want to build up your savings. You want to build up the extra money that you have to have disposable income or for experimentation or for expansion or whatever it is that you're doing. You need to. And the other thing about branding, remember, companies brand themselves, companies brand their products, companies brand their IP. You as a person should be branding yourself. You are your brand the same way. So remember, don't settle for less. Set the bar, keep the bar high, and that's what it's going to end up being. And that's what Nintendo's doing, okay? They're building their brand, they're setting it high, And that's why you don't see price drops on their older games. That's why you don't see their games coming in discounted on remakes and whatnot. It is what it is. And I think it's funny that people are really complaining about the online service. And like I said, it's like $4.16 a month. That's not that. All the other everything else that you could have complained about. I mean, the Switch sold really, really well. Nintendo came out of the gate strong, and then since then, they've kind of what kind of crazy new IPs you seen them throwing out there? What new innovation you seen with games out there? It's like after that first year, they're doing the exact same thing they did with the Wii. Once the Wii took off and was selling really well, Nintendo kind of set back. You didn't see them go out there just put the pedal to the metal and keep dishing out new games and new ideas and new experiences. They kind of were like, all right, we're doing it. We can continue to float by with minimum effort, and that's what they've kind of been doing with the Switch a little bit. At least that's what my feeling is in terms of looking at the software lineups. But everyone's been like fine and saying the Switch is great, Nintendo's killing it, and I'm like, I mean, it's a good system, but they're lacking in certain areas. But for some reason, everybody's going crazy about this $4.16 a month for this new online service. I don't get it. There's a lot of other things you could have killed Nintendo on. I don't think this is really one of them. I mean, they had to pay more for licensing. It is what it is. If you don't want it, don't buy it. Is Nintendo greedy? All companies are greedy. Everyone's greedy. Business is greedy. They're not your friends. They're here to make money. Does that make them bad? No. Do we want them to have better business practices? Yes. Are there some things that need to be refined? Definitely. But I wouldn't necessarily title it greedy, right? Like, make your money. Make it when you can. Anyway, that's just my thought on the online expansion price at Nintendo and their greed, the evil corporation or the evil empire. This won't be the first video on the evil empire. They are still rough around the edges when it comes to certain things, and we'll discuss that in future videos. But in terms of being greedy, the market will dictate the price of items. If people don't buy stuff, then the prices will come down. If people are buying stuff and the company's making money, the prices won't come down. If people have deemed that that is a price that they're willing to pay for the product, then let them get the product and enjoy it. And if you don't deem that it's worth it for you, then don't get it. All right, until next time, keep exploring, stay safe.